Another day and yet another calamity in Westminster. It seems that we are going from crisis to crisis to crisis. It's fundamentally wrong that a collection of spiteful children should be allowed to depose a democratically elected Prime Minister and then try to replace that person with someone of their choice without giving us the opportunity to express our opinion. I appreciate that legally we vote for a local MP, we don't vote for a Prime Minister, but I would say that I'm probably right in believing that most of us feel that that now seems to be inherently flawed. This is not the first time. They replaced Thatcher with John Major, they replaced David Cameron with Theresa May. Now recently they replaced Boris Johnson with Liz Truss, who incidentally, according to certain calculations, cost the country £1.5 billion per day for every day that she was in office because of the damage that she has done. And now they want to replace her with their chosen candidate, who seems to be Rishi Sunak. Apparently using the word globalist can be offensive. I won't use that word. What I can say is that I don't feel confident that his intentions are in the best interests of this country or the majority of its citizens, but I could be wrong. Perhaps it's time that we even looked at how we, the electorate, change in our thinking. We allow ourselves to be divided along party lines in some sort of national game of electoral distraction. People choose which side of the fence they are for their own reasons. And I would say it's fair to believe that the vast majority of people base their decision on what they feel is right, what they feel would be best. I think that there's very few people whose voting intention has any malice. But we are lost in party politics. Perhaps it's time in future that we stopped allowing ourselves to be divided along party lines and actually began to seek out individual independence. It's not possible in many places. Here in Northampton North, where I am, I've looked into it. Nothing would give me greater pleasure than to stand just once just to make their lives an absolute misery, because as an independent, they wouldn't be able to rein me back with the threat of their party whip. But guess what? Here in Northampton, we're almost divided straight down the middle along party lines. No independent has even managed to recover their deposit, let alone stand a chance of being elected. That is fundamentally wrong, because what we have seen in the last few months is that our government is not democratic. They do not respect the wishes of the greater public, and that is wrong. When things are going well, we can all get on with our lives and ignore their continual misdemeanours, for want of a better word. But when their actions create a financial crisis that puts millions of people into poverty, then we do have a right to voice our objection. And we may not get a chance to vote in line with our thoughts for maybe another 2 years, but we should not forget what's happened over the last few months and the damage that it has done. On a positive note, the Bank of England did step in to reassure people, this was after Liz Truss resigned of course, that they do not expect interest rates to peak at above 5.25%, or even perhaps not even reach 5.25%. Let's hope that they don't make things any worse, because that being the case, then hopefully the worst that we can expect over the next few months or year or so is that interest rates will invariably rise a little more and then slowly begin to come down, making life easier for people. But if there is any more disruption in the markets, that could change overnight. That is why I have continually said, whatever we foresee, whatever I may hazard a guess at where we will be next year, is based on if things continue as they are. And 2 or 3 weeks ago, I did feel that interest rates would break 6% next year, if not more. Let's hope that I'm able to revise that down. As for first-time buyers, my advice remains unchanged. If you are a first-time buyer and you are about to buy your first home, please wait. Let's see what happens with this bunch of clowns first. Let's see what happens when the OBR report is released, and then give it at least 2 weeks to allow that report to be scrutinised, digested, discussed, and most importantly, let's see what effect it has on the markets and the greater economy, and then perhaps at that point you may be in a better position to make a decision on what you wish to do. I really wouldn't jump into anything at this moment in time, because I can't actually predict what's going to happen at 9:01 tomorrow morning, let alone next week, next month or next year. But here's hoping that things will settle down and that this calamity will be over, albeit that the consequences of it will adversely affect the entire nation financially for years maybe. That's all for today, and I will see you in the next video.